Does anybody have any questions? Because you don't often get a chance to talk to somebody with this caliber. Yes, Eric.
I noticed your pick playing, that you're using a lot of downstrokes when you're playing. Is that like a conscious decision, or okay?
Yeah.
How come? Is it for consistency, or is it for... Okay.
Well, there you go. You
Okay.
answered it.
Did everybody hear that? The question was, Rob uses a lot of downstrokes with his picking, and why is that?
Consistency. There you go. Now, one of the most important things is I see a lot of bass players, they use a lot of alternate picking, but they kind of lose, when I listen to recordings, they kind of lose the pulse. Does that make sense to you? What I always do is I always try to play at least in the 4th notes or 8 notes, that I always stay perfect on spot. It doesn't matter if I play like 16 notes or 32nd notes, if you will, but you'll always stay on spot. It's kind of the same thing as tapping with your foot, or a drummer will actually tapping with the hi-hat while he's doing a drum roll.
Well, you mentioned something interesting. You mentioned the pulse, and part of the beauty of live music is the fact that it has a pulse. It's living, it's breathing, and some of that requires imperfections, but in order for a powerful music like yours to have a strong pulse, it has to be very precisely played, and that makes perfect sense that you would down pick every single note.
Yeah, for instance, I just also played the verse of the last song that I played. Let me give an example. A lot of guitarists or bass players would play, but I do. Do you see what I do with my right hand? It's alternate picking, but I always stay in the pulse. Now I do. Big difference.
Yeah.
It's amazing how subtle things like that add life to the music.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
I see.
So the question was, has he experimented with picks? You come from a pop background, and you're also a pick player, so you wanted to understand a little bit more about how his choice of picks, why he uses the shape and the thickness that he uses. Yes.
That is actually a pretty good question. When I started playing with a pick, first I thought if you play a bass, you have to use a very heavy pick, just like you're using heavy strings and whatever. But the thing is that through the years, I actually started to play with thinner picks. Now, for today, I did this on purpose. This is like a Dunlop Tortex, let me see, 73 millimeters, which is actually not the thickest bass pick you have around. And the reason why I do this, there's several reasons. One is sound, because when I use a thicker, just try that at home. If you use a thicker pick, I don't know, the sound is a little bit rounder, just like you use your fingers basically. If you use this, you get a little bit more of a snappy sound. You know what I mean? And the reason why I use this shape, this is actually a little bit a thing that kind of happened when I just joined Epica, our guitar tech. He always has his own guitar picks with him, and I forgot to bring him along. And he said, I have these triangle picks. I said, man, those are way too big. But I start to notice when I go on stage, sometimes you get sweaty hands and your pick starts to roll, and it's oh, it's back again. Oh, it doesn't matter. I can turn it around, twist it, doesn't matter. You always have a good grip. That's actually the main reason why I use the triangle pick. Yeah.
That's cool.
And also the reason why I started to play with thinner plectrums, what I also noticed is that if you use a thinner one, it is more like a natural limiter on your bass. Because you probably also noticed that if you use a heavier pick and you hit the string really heavy, sometimes you kind of incidentally bend the string so your intonation gets a little bit messed up. And you also avoid it with this. That's a little trick that I learned in the studio.
Don't you experience difference in timing? Because the thicker picks I experience, my timing is in that straight pick. With the thicker pick, the attack is physically there. So because the pick bends.
Yeah. Makes sense, but it also depends how you grip it, of course. If you a little bit going. Yeah, of course, if you take it like here, or you grip it on the end, yeah, this will cause a certain delay, of course, that's true. But that also depends on your grip. You're welcome.
Thanks very much. You mentioned something there that a heavier pick will attack the string harder, and that will raise the pitch of the note. And that's a semi-bad thing if you're playing a solo. It's a really bad thing if you're playing with keyboards and other instruments that are in key. Do we have any other questions? One more? Yeah?
What tuning you use? Is it a standard tuning?
Yeah, this is B standard, yeah.
This is B standard, but you do some alternate tunings, don't you?
Yeah.
Can you describe those?
Yeah, sometimes I use drop A, because my other basses all have a key extender on it. And sometimes I even have songs where I regularly use like a B standard tuning, but there are just a few sections there where I really need like a low A, and then I switch it to drop A, and that's it, and I can switch it back easily. And there's one or two other songs that I also use a bass in B flat.
Do you have with a lower tuning other strings, stretch strings, or is it?
No, I basically use the same strings. I mostly use the Ernie Ball, the heavier strings, and so if I use like a drop A tuning and I do it in the studio, I always adjust the bridge, maybe give it a little bit more of action.
Could you drop it to A now and just let them hear what it sounds like?
Yeah, sure.
Do a manual drop. I actually prefer drop A to B standard. I like that.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time?
Way snappier.
We're getting close to the end of our time here. We have time for one more question if we have one. Yes, sir.
I noticed how consistent your pick playing is.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that something you consciously worked on?
Yeah.
And how do you work on it?
That's actually a good question. What I mostly do,
What really works is, of course, practice. But I have to be very honest, I'm actually pretty lazy if it comes to practicing. And the only thing what I do is, like, if there's a tour coming, then of course I have to build up my stamina and everything, and that's when I start training. If I have to do like a tour where I have to play 2 hour set each day, then I'll make sure that I'll be able to play at least that set like 3 times a day. So I build up conditioning again, so that's at least 6 hours playing a day. And what I sometimes do is just put on a click track and just dong, 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 just play one note. Try that on each section of the bass or whatever note you want to play. But also positioning is very important. That's one thing that I really like also about these basses. It's a little trick that I learned when I started using the Super J, is that I actually put my pinky behind the bridge, so that I always have the same position. This also causes a lot of consistency. Because I see a lot of bass players like, okay, this is a little bit too much, but if you put it over here,
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
And sometimes I just also, there are just some stupid little tricks that I also learned in the studio, but also on stage. Because, of course, now I'm standing still, but on stage I'm always headbanging like an idiot and running around. So, yeah, what you have to do, you still have to need that consistent tone, of course. That's why I always look for certain positions that are really, kind of safe. But in the end, it will make you sound way better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, awesome. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. It's a real pleasure to have Rob here and have you here to share his experience with you, and thank you so much.